What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. My name is Lucas Wenzel, and today we are chatting about 10 players that you should be looking to stash ahead of this weekend slate and ahead of next week's waivers as well. But before we dive into that list, if you want a chance at winning a glorious fantasy football championship belt for your league, courtesy of our good friends at Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy football trophies, you need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below on this video, and that is it. That is all you need to do. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can know when new videos are up and to claim your prize. Kicking off our list this week is New England Patriots wide receiver Demario Douglas, who's rostered in 19% of leagues. Douglas has missed the last 2 weeks with a concussion, but as of this recording, he's been practicing in limited fashion this week. He had seen 9 targets in both weeks 11 and 12, and he only played 49% of the snaps before exiting week 12 early, so there was still volume to be had. He's also seen 7+ targets and 5+ receptions in each of his last 4 games, increasing his value in PPR formats. Should he return to the Patriots lineup this week, there's a good chance he reclaims his status as the team's top wide receiver and gives you necessary depth at the position for the fantasy playoffs. Second on our list is Kenneth Gainwell, Philadelphia Eagles running back, who's rostered in 29% of leagues. At this point in the season, there aren't many sneaky good running back stashes, and your best strategy is to lock up handcuffs to your stud running backs. Please don't take this advice as pick up and start Kenny Gainwell over DeAndre Swift, because this is far from that. But as you look at the Eagles' rest of season schedule for running backs, they draw the Seahawks, who have given up the 5th most fantasy points to running backs, the Giants twice, who have given up the 12th most points, and the Arizona Cardinals, who give up the 2nd most fantasy points to the position. If anything happens to DeAndre Swift, Kenny Gainwell could be in for a league-winning stretch to close out the season. Making this list in back-to-back weeks is Washington Commanders wide receiver Curtis Samuel, who's rostered in 36% of leagues. Samuel has gone for at least 65 yards in each of his last 2 games, while also boasting 2 top 35 finishes at the position. Against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, he drew a surprising 12 targets and hauled in 9 of them for 100 yards on the dot. The Commanders' schedule rest of season is hit or miss for wide receivers, drawing the Rams, then Jets, 49ers, and then Cowboys. But if there's one thing you can count on for this offense, it's that they are going to throw the ball a ton. That at least bodes well for Curtis Samuel, who should be a quality depth piece to your roster rest of season. Up next is San Francisco 49ers running back Jordan Mason, who's rostered in 2% of leagues. We're going to continue following our handcuff theme here, because if Elijah Mitchell continues to deal with injury, Jordan Mason is the immediate backup to Christian McCaffrey. He got 5 touches on Sunday and found the end zone, but let's not kid ourselves. There's no standalone value here. That being said, if anything were to happen to CMC and Elijah Mitchell is unavailable, Jordan Mason would inherit a massive role in this offense with a phenomenal rest of season schedule. The last thing you want is for your championship hopes to fall to the wayside just because you didn't stash your handcuff running back. The next player on our list is Jonathan Mingo of the Carolina Panthers, who's rostered in 15% of leagues. Believe it or not, Mingo has drawn 9+ targets in each of his last 2 games. Now, it's only amounted to 8 receptions for 91 yards, but he's out-targeted and out-snapped Adam Thielen in those games. Could there be a potential changing of the guard here? Well, to be determined, but considering he hasn't played fewer than 92% of the snaps since week 5, and the targets he's been earning the last 2 weeks, he's one of the more intriguing potential late season rookie breakouts. I've featured a defense and special teams unit each of the last 2 weeks, and this week's stash is the Los Angeles Rams. The reason to stash a defense at this point of the season is to take advantage of matchups in the fantasy playoffs. We want to squeeze every ounce of advantage possible, because while it may sound silly, the defense may be what makes or breaks a week for you. For this Rams stash, I'm looking all the way ahead to week 17, where the Rams draw the New York Football Giants. Now, I love Tommy Cutlass just as much as the next guy, but let's also not pretend that the Giants are some big formidable offense. Before your league mates want to stream the Rams defense 2 weeks down the line, You can beat them to the punch by stashing this defense now before they even realize it. Coming in next is Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Michael Wilson, who's rostered in 6% of leagues. Wilson has been dealing with a shoulder injury since week 11 and is now labeled with a neck injury. That being said, he's returned to the practice field after the team's week 14 bye and has been working in limited fashion. With Marquise Brown dealing with a heel injury, there could be opportunity for Wilson to step up with a great rest of season schedule. He draws the 49ers this week, the Bears in week 16, and then the Philadelphia Eagles, who can't figure out how to stop wide receivers from scoring fantasy points this year. The Cardinals will more than likely be playing from behind in these games, leading to more opportunities through the air for Michael Wilson to be a sneaky good stash rest of season. This player is making his third straight appearance on this stash list, and it's Demarcus Johnson, running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's rostered in 7% of leagues. It's clear at this point, Demarcus Johnson is the direct backup to Travis Etienne ahead of Tank Bigsby. As I've mentioned each of the last 3 weeks, having your handcuffs locked in place at this point of the season is crucial. If something were to happen to Travis Etienne, your championship hopes would instantly evaporate if you didn't have Demarcus Johnson stashed on your bench. These are the types of players you can be 3 steps ahead of your league mates on and not fight them on the waiver wire later. The next player we're going to touch on is Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, who's rostered in 4% of leagues. Maybe Kyren Williams was the missing piece, but since his return, this Rams offense has looked significantly better, and Demarcus Robinson has benefited from it. He's scored at least 13.5 fantasy points in each of his last 2 games and even drew 10 targets in week 14 against Baltimore. In that same stretch, his average depth of target has been 15.5 yards, which is 13th best of all wide receivers. Now with Tutu Atwell managing a concussion, there could be an opportunity here for Robinson to step up as the primary field stretcher for this offense, especially when he draws a phenomenal matchup with the Washington Commanders this weekend. Wrapping out our list this week is Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back for the Washington Commanders, who's rostered in 0% of leagues. Brian Robinson is on track to miss week 15 after sustaining a hamstring injury in week 13. Antonio Gibson and Chris Rodriguez appear to be set to lead the backfield for week 15 and potentially beyond. Antonio Gibson will likely work as the primary, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Chris Rodriguez gets his fair share of work as well. On the pure long shot, he becomes Washington's lead back rest of season, he may be worth the stash in a deep or 14+ man league. Alrighty, y'all, that is all I have for you today. Remember, if you want a chance at winning a glorious fantasy football championship belt for your league, courtesy of our good friends at Trophy Smack, the #1 destination for epic fantasy football trophies, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now, drop a comment below on this video, and that is it. That is all you need to do, my friends. We will be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can know when new videos are up and to come claim your prize.